Ladies and gentlemen, it is now relatively official that all federal employees on average are going to see a 5.2% increase to their pay in 2024. Now, that is going to be broken up between increase to base salary as well as locality. So not every federal employee is going to see exactly this. It depends on exactly where you live, but on average, it's going to be 5.2%. Now, this sort of increase for pay raise is very rare because normally inflation isn't as high as it has been recently. So this type of pay raise is rare. So the big question is, what should you do with that money? There are some things you can do to lower your taxes with that money. There's other strategies. We're going to dive into all of that today. If you are new here, welcome. So good to have you. My name is Dallin Hawes. I'm a financial planner who helps federal employees with these decisions, plus all the other retirement and benefit decisions all day long, and I absolutely love it. So let's dive right in. Long story short, let's say your salary is $100,000. Well, with a 5% increase, now it's $105,000. So that's thousands of extra dollars that you may be earning this next year. The question is, what should you be doing with that money? And here is a few things to consider. Number one, if you have high interest debt, credit cards, personal loans, whatever it is, when I say high interest, anything over 7-8%, you're going to want to attack that debt with a fury. Put all this extra money there. Honestly, in my opinion, that is an emergency. If you've got high interest debt that's eating away at you, you've got to knock that out. So if you have that, please do that before you do anything else, okay? Once you have all your high interest debt paid off and you just have, let's say, a mortgage or some car loans that are low interest, okay, then we can look at some other things and not worry about debt as much. But if you have high interest debt, you've got to focus there, okay? Any extra money needs to go to debt first and foremost. Any debt that is high interest, okay? Number two, there's a couple different things you can do to affect taxes with this extra money. Number one, if you put money into the traditional TSP, okay, any money that goes into the traditional TSP is a tax deduction. Okay, so for example, if you made $100,000 before this pay raise, and of course the pay raise is going to take you to, let's say, $105,000. Well, if you don't want to pay any extra taxes on that $105,000, then put the extra $5,000 into the traditional TSP, and you'll get a tax deduction for that $5,000, and therefore not pay any extra federal income tax on that money. So if that's the goal, if you don't want to pay any extra income tax on that pay raise, then boom, stick it in the traditional TSP. Okay, that's number one. I guess that's number two. That's number two. Number three, if you put that money into the Roth TSP, okay, again, if you put that money into the Roth TSP, once that money goes into the Roth TSP, it can grow tax-free forever. So in here, you have to pay taxes on that $5,000 now, but once it gets in here, it can grow tax-free forever. And when the money comes out later, it's completely tax-free. So it depends on what approach you want to take. If you want the tax deduction now with the traditional, or the tax deduction basically later when you take it out with the Roth TSP, okay? Where it's tax-free when the money comes out, which is a great benefit. So honestly, number one, high interest debt, you need to prioritize that. Number two, when and how do you want to pay the taxes, now or later? If you don't want to pay any extra taxes on the extra money at all, stick it in the traditional TSP. And of course, if let's say you're already maxing out the TSP, you could look at other things like paying off your mortgage or those sort of things. Now, of course, one big thing I haven't talked about is, well, probably over the last couple of years, your bills, your expenses have increased because inflation has increased, right? That's why they're giving you this big pay raise to begin with. So here's the deal. I know not everyone can afford to take their entire pay increase and put it towards retirement or their mortgage I get that. But can you do a piece of it? For example, let's say your bills have increased considerably, but can you take 2% of this or whatever it may be and stick that towards something that's going to help you in the future? You don't have to put all of it into the TSP if you can't or can't afford to. That's okay. I get it. Do what you can do. Can you put a piece of it towards the future and your retirement? That'll make a massive difference. So I hope that's helpful. If you have any follow-up questions, there is actually a link below to submit questions to us. And we look at those questions, we take those, and we base our future content in the future on basically answering the questions that you submit. Okay, so I hope that's helpful. Have an incredible rest of your day. I'll see you guys next time.